More applied dimensional analysis, dual unit conversions. So dual unit, what does that really mean? It means that we're going to be converting 2 units. So we've seen this before, like write miles per hour. Now, what does the per mean? It just means that we have the bar, this bar, right? We have miles per hour. So we're just going to put a bar there. So we get a numerator and we get a denominator. That's how it happens. And so with dual units, we're going to convert 1 unit at a time. So we can either, like say for this example, if we were going from kilometers to seconds or minutes, we would first convert either the distance and then we would do the time. So that's kind of what that means. So let's look at some examples. Example 1, traveling at 65 miles per hour, how many minutes will it take to drive 125 miles to San Diego if you get 27 miles per gallon? So let's go ahead and begin this problem. So let's look at the information. We know we are traveling 65 miles per hour. We have 125 miles until we get to our destination. And we're going to get 27 miles per gallon. And what are we looking for? Well, we're looking for minutes. So we know that this is probably going to be really important because this gives us a certain sense of time of how fast we're going to get there. So the 65 miles per hour is very important. Now, what's also important? Well, we know we need to travel 125 miles to get to San Diego. So that would also be important. So we should probably use that somewhere. And then this last bit of information, we get 27 miles per gallon. That's actually just useless information. It's just to distract us to see if we need to use it. Right? We don't care how many miles per gallon we're getting unless we're dealing with the tank and we need to see if we're going to get there on time with the current tank. But we're not given any other information about that. So it's actually just useless. So let's not even look at it now. But it's really important to discern which important numbers or things we need to look at. So we have 65 miles per hour and we have 125 miles. So let's go ahead and start with this 125 miles. So if we have 125 miles to go, that's going to be our starting number. Now, let's look at the 65 miles per hour. Well, we need time. We need to get rid of miles. We don't care about miles, really. So in order to get rid of it, in the sense that we don't need it in our final solution, we're going to actually put the 65 miles on the bottom, and we're going to put 1 hour on the top. This way, we get rid of miles just like that. And we're left with hour on the top, which is a good sign because we need to get time and we need it to be on the numerator. So let's go ahead and keep going. Now, we need how many minutes? So we know 1 hour is 60 minutes. That's just a conversion we know, and so therefore we can go ahead and cross out the hour and we're left with minutes, which is exactly what we want. So we've done our problem. So all we need to do is now multiply everything on top and then divide by what's on the bottom. So let's get our calculator. So we have 125 times 60. And we're going to go ahead and divide by 65. And we get 115, and we'll just go round to the nearest tenth. So 115.4. And that's in minutes. So just shy of 2 hours we're going to get there. Now let's do another example. Example 2. Gas costs $2.70 per gallon. Now this is US dollars. In Bellingham, Washington. Convert $2.70 per gallon to Canadian dollar per liter. So Bellingham's really close to the Canadian border. So we're going to look at the gas prices between the two. So we're going to use the conversion, 1 US dollar, so we see it as 1 USD, is equal to $1.40, which is Canadian dollars. So we're going to convert. So we're converting, right? We're converting our US dollars to Canadian dollars. What else are we doing? Well, we have gallons and we need to convert it to liter Because in Canada, we do it, right? They have the metric system, so they're going to do it per liter, not per gallon. So we're also going to go from gallons to liter. So we have two different conversions we're doing. So let's go ahead and start this. So we know we have $2.70. Now this is US dollars. This is very important, per 1 gallon. Right, so this is our starting point. Now we need to go ahead and convert. So let's go ahead and convert with the US dollar first. So what do we know? Well, 1 US dollar is equal to $1.40 Canadian dollars. So what we're going to do is put the 1 USD on the bottom so we get rid of it here. Right, and we're going to put the Canadian dollar on the top, so $0.40, that's Canadian, on the top. And then we're left with Canadian dollars on the top, so that's it. That's all we have to do for that unit. Now we need to convert between gallons to liters. Well, we know that 1 gallon, right, 1 gallon is equal to 3.785. Now, sometimes you'll see this rounded to 79 because they just take it to the nearest hundredth rather than to the nearest thousands. So either way, but this way, we're just going to go out a little bit further to make it a little bit more accurate. Now, we're going to have to put the gallons on the top, right? Because we need to get rid of gallons here. So then we put the liters on the bottom. So this is liters, this crosses out, that crosses out. And what are we left with? We're left with liters and Canadian dollars. And what do we need to convert it to? Well, Canadian dollars per liter. So we did it. So now all we have to do now is multiply and divide. So we'll get our calculators out. So we have $2.70. And then we're going to go ahead and multiply it by 1.4. And we get 3.78. Then we're going to go ahead and divide by 3.785. And what do we get? Well, we get 0.9986. So really close to a dollar. We can even just round to a dollar. Or we can just, because if we round to the nearest hundredth, that'd be a 0 because we'd have to convert. So it'd be, let's just round to $1. So this is 1 Canadian dollar per liter. That would be the price if we were to pay in America with Canadian dollars per liter, rather than looking at it per US dollars per gallon. Now, let's look at this. Then, does the US get better at gas prices if we say Canada gets $1.11 per liter? Well, we would say gas actually is cheaper over in the US because it's $1 rather than $1.11. So it's 11 cents cheaper in Canadian dollars, but that's just a kind of a fun comparison to look at. So now let's look at another example. Example 3. The acceleration of an object moving through space was measured at 91 feet per minute squared. What is this in meters per second squared? So we're going to do some conversion. We are doing 91 feet per minute squared. So let's walk through this. So we have to go from feet. Well, if we're going from the US customary to the metric system, we're probably going to have to use, right, the 2.54 centimeters is equal to 1 inch. This is our middle step somewhere. So let's think about this. We need to get to inches then. So we can go feet to inches. Then we can go from inches to centimeters. And we just need to go to meters, so we go centimeters to meters. And we've done our distance. Now let's look at time. So we have minutes squared. So we're going to have to go minutes squared to then just seconds squared. So it's just one step over. So let's go ahead and now do our conversions. So we know 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. Then we need to go from inches to centimeters. So we're going to use this one. We're just going to insert it in there. So we have 1 inch on the bottom because we need to get rid of inches, right? Whatever we do, let the units guide us. So if we need to get rid of it, something on the top, we need to put it on the bottom, right? And then the feet can cross out. But we get 2.54 centimeters. Then we need to go from centimeters to meters. Well, we know, right, century, which is 100. So we have 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter. So now we're done with our distance. We did it. But now we need to deal with our second squared. So let's go ahead and use a different color. Now, if we're going to minutes to second squared, well, notice that the second squared needs to be on the bottom. And we need to get rid of the minute squared. So we're going to go ahead and place the minute squared right there. And we know minute squared and second squared is just an easy conversion because we know 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. We need to square both numbers on the top and the bottom to get our answer because this is minute squared and this is second squared. So in order to get rid of all the units, we have to take the square of everything here. So now we can go ahead and solve by using a calculator. So we'll get our calculators out. We start out with 91. Then we're going to times 12 times 2.54. And then we can just go times 1, which will just be 2,773.68. Next, we need to go ahead and divide by 100. Then we need to divide by 60. And we need to divide one more time because we have two 60s right here. So when we get our answer for meters per second squared, we get 0.0077. So let's go ahead and go. And what is this? Well, remember we got rid of the minute squared. So we're left with meters per second squared. So this would be our solution.